Okay, so this tutorial is going to be on map scales. We're going to learn about 3 types of scales in this lesson. And the first one we're going to learn about is a line scale. So a line scale is a scale which uses a length of line, such as this one, which is divided up into increments. Doesn't have to be any specific measurement, although it can be. And this line indicates a certain distance on a map. So for instance, if I wanted to indicate that each of these segments indicates a centimeter in real life, because scales indicate distance in real life, they are not the actual distance typically. So here I have my line scale, and each of these numbers indicates another centimeters. From 0 to 1, we have 1 centimeter. And I'm just going to add my measurement there. Never forget to add your measurements. Here we've got 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 5 centimeter. So for instance, if I wanted to measure something on a piece of paper, now just let me switch my colors here. Here is going to be my fictional map in white. Lovely map there. Let's just, oops, that's not helpful. We'll undo that. We'll just leave it as it is. This is my map. I want to measure a distance from A to B. So in order to do this, I will need to have something to place on top of the map, because my line scale is over here. I cannot move it on top of that map and impose it over top. So I will take another piece of paper. Let's make it purple. This is my little slip of paper. And I will take my pencil and I will mark on that piece of paper, which I need to move for a second. 1 second here. I'm going to move my piece of paper over here on top of this map, and I'm going to actually put it below. So where A is, I'm going to mark it with, need a pen. I'm going to mark it with a dot right here on A and on B. So this is the distance that I want to measure, right, between these 2 points. It's a little scrawly, but you get the idea. Those are the points I want to measure. So now I need to take this piece of paper and compare it to my original scale, which is over here. So here we go. I have my scale. The point A is lined up with 0 because that's where I'm starting. And point B is lined up over here. Now you'll see, and I'm just going to change my color here, that point, this point here, does not quite get that far. So I've got from 0 to 4 centimeters, and we're just guesstimating here. This is probably another ½ centimeter. And so I can say over here from point A to point B, 4½ centimeters. So that's the distance. Now, if this were representing kilometers, for instance, I could say from point A to point B on my map is 4½ centimeters. All right, let's change colors and do the next type of scale. So my direct statement scale is the one that I'm moving on to now. Direct statement. scale. And a direct statement scale is just what it sounds like. You're using words to describe a relationship between distance on your map and distance in real life. So for instance, I can say 1 centimeter oops, I believe it's spelled the other way around. 1 centimeter represents 1 meter in real life. Or I could express it this way: 1 centimeter to 1 meter. Some people also express it 1 centimeter equals 1 meter. However, we know from our math that 1 centimeter does not equal 1 meter. It only represents it. So we don't want to use this phrase if we can avoid it. Let's stick with 2. 1 centimeter is representing 1 meter. So that is the direct statement scale. Now it might be combined with a line scale on your map. You could have a line scale that says that this particular distance is equal to this many meters. So I could say that this distance, pretend that this is 1 centimeter increments, 1 centimeter equals equals 1 kilometer or 1 meter. I could rephrase that here, so I could be 1 meter. The important thing to realize is that obviously 1 centimeter on the map is not really 1 meter. It's representing 1 meter. And finally, change colors again, we have our representative fraction scale. So representative fraction, it's also called an RF. You can shorten it as an RF scale or a ratio scale. Uses relationship between the numbers. So we have 1 on one side. That 1 represents a unit of measurement on the map. Unit of measurement on the map. And on the other side, we have the same unit of measurement, whatever that unit is, same unit in real life. So on the Earth's surface. What's important to remember with the RF scale is that if this is, say, 1 centimeter, this number 500 also needs to be expressed in centimeters, because that is what this fraction is telling us. It says 1 centimeter represents 500 centimeters on the Earth's surface. So real life, 1 centimeter on the map, 500 centimeters in real life. So the great thing about this RF scale is that this 1 does not necessarily have to be centimeters. It could be inches. It could be 1 inch. That represents 500 inches on Earth's surface. It could be 1 millimeter, represents 500 millimeters on the Earth's surface, but it can be whatever you choose. As long as these two measurements stay the same on both sides, you're going to get an accurate idea of scale. Now that is about the end of this particular video. Our next video will talk about converting from each of these different scales, so from a line scale, direct statement scale, or representative fraction scale, to one of the others. So how do you go about going from a representative fraction scale into a direct statement scale, and vice versa.